And now joined by the West Virginia Mountaineers head coach Mark Kellogg, now in his third year in Morgantown after 8 seasons at Stephen F. Austin. This team 25-8 a year ago, 16-0 at home, 13-5 in Big 12 play. And here are 3 of their student athletes: senior guard Jordan Harrison, senior guard Sydney Shaw, and graduate student forward Kiara Wheeler. Welcome to all of you. Coach, back-to-back trips to the NCAA tournament for your program. Now in year 3, some faces will look different, some are the same, but it seems as though you've got more depth with this roster than maybe you've had in the past. Can you talk about how you've put the puzzle pieces together a little bit here for this upcoming season?
Yeah, no, I think we do. The irony a little bit is the roster is smaller. We only have 11 players, so that doesn't always go hand in hand with depth and balance, but I do think we have a very balanced roster, and versatility is really the word that allows us to play, different ways. We've tried to, through the transfer portal and through recruiting, identify some areas maybe that we were a hair deficient in a year ago to see if we can't kind of knock down that proverbial Sweet 16 wall, if you will. But we've been within possessions in back-to-back years of making the Sweet 16, and we needed to clean up some rebounding, and hopefully we can shoot it a little bit better from 3 and not lose our defensive identity that we've kind of been known for. So I think we have had a great plan of attack. We like what we've had with the players so far. Great group. All 11 of them get along. We're just still learning a little bit about each other, and we'll continue to learn as the year goes.
And that happens. There's no doubt. You talk about that defensive identity, and that has been the name of the game. You, again, the top returning defensive team in this league, 57-plus points allowed in conference game. How has that buy-in been in practice? In getting some of those new faces to be able to really understand what they need to do defensively and have some of your returners elevate their game, possibly on the defensive end too?
Well, I think we're getting there. We got a little bit of work to do, don't we, still on that end? But we're
they're all nodding. That's good.
Yeah. No, they get it. But no, I mean, they don't really have a choice in some regards. It's just kind of the identity. It's what we are about. But when we get them, even, and Sydney can talk about this a little bit, but, how far she's come. I've been so proud. Jordan's been an elite defender for a long time, but continues to elevate her game. And Mimi, we call Kiara down there. So if I say Mimi, that's who I'm talking about. But, and Mimi's learning and, having to play a little bit differently. But everybody, they're going to buy in. We're going to play hard. We're going to compete on that end. I think we'll be a little different now on the offensive end. I think we'll maybe be able to score and have a little more production in the paint than we have in the past. So it will be fun to have a balanced inside and out attack, which is going to just be a little bit different for us than what we've had in my first 2 years.
Well, these 3 give balance. I will also remind our friends out here, if you have any questions, please let us know. We will bring a microphone to you. We'll start with Jordan Harrison, the preseason All Big 12 selection. You averaged just shy of 14 points a game last year. You led this team in assists. You played next to one of the most dynamic guards, not only, I think, in the Big 12, but in the country. I've always been a huge fan of J.J. Quinterly. Now you take the reins as the leader out front. What have you focused on to get yourself ready for this senior season?
Yeah, I would definitely say just making sure that I'm not turning down any shots. I'm being more productive, being more of a leader, just trying to get my new teammates acclimated to the system because I can't do it without them. So if they don't know what they're doing and I do, it's not going to work. So, yeah, just trying to help my teammates out and just be that leader and that helping ear for them for sure.
Leadership comes in different forms and fashions. I've asked a lot of the young ladies up here today this question. Do you see yourself as a vocal leader, a leader by example, or maybe a combination of both?
I think I'm definitely a combination of both. I prefer to lead by example more than anything because I think that speaks more volumes, but I definitely say both.
Well, that's good. Coach is nodding, so I think he's in agreement here. That's good. Okay, that's good. Sydney Shaw, you started all 32 games a season ago, led this team in minutes played, logged just shy of 32 a game. There's a lot of conversation about how teams mesh rosters, new players, all of that. But when you bring new players in to returners like yourselves, Kiara coming on board and others, how do you approach that? And what do you guys all do both on and off the floor to build that chemistry and that culture of West Virginia women's basketball?
I think on the court, we focus on communicating effectively. Off the court, it's easy. We're all, I think they did a really good job recruiting good people, funny people. That's important for me. But we get along great off the court. So on the court, just meeting everybody where they are and trying to, get everybody on the same page.
And what parts, Coach has said, your defense has improved in your time in Morgantown, but as you think about what it is you needed to focus on in the offseason, what were the parts of your game that you wanted to take to the next level?
Decision making, for one. I think that I'm aware of how much I have to step up this year, so not looking at it as pressure, but as opportunity. So like Jordan said, taking those shots. We're in a blessed position where coaches shoot it. A lot of people aren't in that position, so just taking advantage of that.
You don't want to turn one down. I agree. I mean, it sounds like we've got a lot of green lights going on here. That's a good thing. Probably within good measure, though. That's what Coach will tell you. Kiara Wheeler, you spent 3 years at Norfolk State, an all-conference first-team selection last year, just shy of 16 points a game. This is going to be your first year in the Big 12. But what was it that drew you to West Virginia? Why was it the right place for you?
Just the standard that was brought on to me. When I first came on my visit, it was very welcoming, and I just liked everything that the Mountaineers really represented it, and that's something I want to embody, just not in basketball, but in my life. So.
And as people that are going to be new to probably in this league to be able to see your game, what is it you bring to the floor for this team?
I think Coach Kellogg used it earlier, but versatility, my ability to score in the paint, but also bring my defenders outside when I do get put on bigger defenders.
And defense, you're good with that?
Defense,
okay. Just want to make sure. I didn't want to leave that one out because, that might be one we want to include. I think we have a question out here in the audience. Go ahead and identify yourself, please.
Joan Baldessini with Arizona. Hey, Mark, and congrats on a great season last year. So year 3, your teams reflect pressing, defense, energy. How are you going to change a little bit offensively? You mentioned scoring inside, but how is that going to change?
Yeah, subtly. I think to the naked eye, I guess, or if you don't know a ton about us, it won't look too much different. Just personnel will change quite a bit for us. But no, we still will use a lot of our defense to lead to offense. Play in the open court we can with a numbered advantage. When we get in the half court, though, I think now we just have the ability to throw it inside. Obviously, that's the highest percentage shot, as we all know. And, last year we had to do it a lot off the dribble. So hopefully a few more assists, sharing the basketball, just allowing us to play inside out. We can run some high-low stuff with some of these post players if we would like to. But that's the kind of versatility I'm talking about. We can get into ball screen action. We can get into some high-low action. But we really just have a better ability now to score really at all 3 levels than we've had in the past.
Coach, the versatility of this league is one that everyone has been talking about all day. So many different styles, so many different types of teams that you're going to see. Knowing what lies ahead once you flip the switch to the conference schedule, what did you look for when you wanted to think about your non-conference and preparing this group and getting ready in these first few weeks of the regular season?
Yeah, no, scheduling is the greatest challenge now that we have because it's hard to determine year to year what rosters are going to look like. And so you try to build it based on the team you think you're going to have, but that takes a little bit longer now too because you may not know your exact roster. We thought maybe, and I don't know if I should say this, but I do, we probably underscheduled it just a hair last year. And I might have overscheduled a little bit. I don't know. Maybe not. We're going to find out here pretty soon. But we have some great challenges in front of us. We have Duke coming up at the Greenbrier on, I think, the 14th of November on a neutral floor against a top 10 opponent in Duke. We go to Texas A&M. Georgia Tech's coming to us. We should play Ohio State on a neutral floor over Thanksgiving. We have Villanova coming in, Temple. There's just it feels like it's kind of we're throwing it, throwing it to them a little bit. But I'm excited to see this group and what they can do with that. And hopefully if we do take care of business, though, we do reap the benefits when it comes to obviously getting ready for the Big 12. And then if you can get into the postseason or once we get to the postseason, maybe, those seeding lines change a little bit. We were an 8 my first year. We were a 6 last year. Thought we maybe could have been a 5, borderline a 4. But if you can get those home games, in the conference or in the NCAA tournament, we understand what it's like to play on somebody else's home floor. And because we've been so dominant at home, we would love to get that thing in Morgantown. Yeah,
16-0 a season ago at home. My last question, and I would pose this to you, Jordan. It's not easy to go undefeated anywhere, even at home. So how important is that home court advantage, that fan base, and just sort of the energy and the buzz around Mountaineer athletics and women's basketball?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely important. We have some of the best fans in the country, and I think they get really hyped and riled up because of our defense. But having them is, like I said, important because if we are, like, kind of in a slump, having their energy and them encouraging us kind of helps us. And it's just more exciting, like, playing in front of people that's cheering for you. You think you're tired, but you're not because you hear the crowd. So they help in many ways, but definitely important and is the reason why we went 16-0 for sure.
Well, fans love a challenge, and they love to make it miserable for opponents. So I'm glad that you guys have a great home court advantage. Thank you for being here. You will be back here in this building in March for the Big 12 tournament. And until then, we wish you all the very best of luck.